Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We got a test here for you guys today. If you've been watching the series of these Craftsman V-series ratchets, you've noticed that they have extreme back drag. More so than just about most ratchets out there. And it's been appalling to many of us to see how much back drag there is. But these come with some sets that have been on a heavy discount, and the sets themselves are great. So we're finding out that these have heavy back drag. Doesn't make them terrible, not necessarily, but backdrag is a key component in selecting your prime ratchet of choice that you want to use on a daily basis. So I wanted to give these ratchets one more chance. I found that they kind of came dry from the factory, and by soaking them in oil or using a pin luber to allow the oil to get in through the selector switch, like on here, that allows it to get lubed up, and we've seen some benefits of that. So I wanted to make this video to show what are those measurements, right? We'll take them, we'll put them on here, we'll spin them, and we'll see how much pressure they put on this scale, and maybe we could attempt to find out if they have been improved or not. And if they have been improved, how do they compare to some of these other ones that are much more known for their low back drag? So I want to test them out. I want to see how they look, and maybe we can all find out, is it enough to call them terrible? Are they getting better? Or are they just garbage? We'll put them on the scale here and start testing them out so we can see which one's better. All right, let's go. All right, so to start off, we have several of these ratchets. If you watched my previous videos, I recommend you go back and watch them where I dip these and I test them out. So you can see which ones I used and see how the backdrag changed over time. But I've got two ratchets here that I picked up from Lowe's on sale, and so both of these I put OEM, just that they're the OEM standard, so nothing's changed. This one did noticeably have more grease in the selector switch, and it did feel like it spun better than this one by a slim margin. So we'll test these ones out first, the OEM, use those as our baseline. Then this is the one I used the pin oiler. We put a pin oiler and just oiled down inside that crevice, went back and forth, and let her loosen up. And I definitely feel like it's loosened up, so we'll check that. And then these last two you see here are going to be the ones that got submerged. So you'll see this little jar here. We opened this up, we submerged them for about a day and a half, I think, and let them soak in the oil, and then ran the selector switches. And this is how they run now. Was there an improvement or not? We'll find that out. Okay, first up, let's go ahead with our flex here. We'll put it on here as so, and we'll set it up so, okay, that's the right direction. And what we'll do is we'll try to let that sit there, and we'll tear it and see how much pressure goes onto it. So 36 grams, let's test that again. 41, 36, 41, 42. So I'll bounce around a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and call that one 40. All right, let's flip it over the other direction and see if that changes. All right, we'll put it on here like so. Again, we'll tear it. Pretty solid 44 once it gets going. So we'll put a 44 on here. All right, next up we'll do this other OEM unit. This comes in the multi-piece box that has all the sockets in it. So this is one that most of the guys got as they bought different sets. So we'll test this one out. All right, 45 seems to be pretty consistent with that direction. A little bit higher than the other. All right, we'll go in the opposite direction now. Let's tear that. I would say 48 on that one. Kind of bounced around a little bit, but it was set at 48 for a good chunk of it. So even worse in that direction. Let's go ahead now with the pin unit. Seems like it's pretty consistent around 30, 32. I think it's a little bit closer to 30. We'll just go for 30 for now. You guys keep that in your mind if you would think 32 is more accurate. Flip it around. All right, we gotta tear it. $33 seems to be pretty consistent on that side. Let's do 33. So pretty close, 30 and then 33 grams on that one. So definitely an improvement over 40, 45 that we're seeing on the ones that aren't lubed. So pin lube definitely works. All right, so this one next is going to be fully submerged. And I'll say for the pin lube one too, it's worth noting that that one I actually ended up working a lot to move back and forth. I ran it quite a bit, did a little job, so that one might have helped attribute to that number. Let's see what it looks like just submerging, not doing any sort of exercising of the ratchet. Okay, let's get it teared. Hold on, let's do it again. Well, that's surprising. Hold on, let's get that teared again. 0. That's a pretty solid 53. That is a high number. Okay, let's flip it over. That looks like 45 on that side. So right in line with the standard ones. So I don't know how to explain that one, but stiffer one way, just fine the other. Right on par with the others. Let's hope that this little guy, the stubby, has something different to say. Again, he was submerged in the oil. Try to get him a little closer. Let's get that right. Okay. About 70 so far. Could that be right? Well, let's say 68, right around there, 68-ish. Okay, let's try the other way. This one is proven to be pretty tight. We're at 65 that direction. Okay. 65, 68. That's quite a bit. So not really showing themselves as being much better. Okay. We'll go ahead. Let's just take a look at some of the ones that you guys like and love. Icon. Again, nothing done to this, I believe. This one, I believe, is all factory spec. I may have ran this once or twice, but not much. So we'll put it on here. And we'll give her a tear and give her a run. I mean, we'll say 14 max. Let's just call it 14. That's right there in the same area. 14. So really good performance by Icon. Now this is an older one. This one, some of the newer ones are a little bit notchier. I think these older ones actually work better. So old stock on that one. All right. Next up is the Milwaukee. Again, no servicing. Even sounds weird. But it is relatively low backdrag. So let's give it a shot. That's a solid 8. Really good back drag for that one. Let's rotate it out. I'm going to give that one 11. That performed just as good, if not slightly better than that Icon. Okay, next up. This is a ratchet most of you guys probably don't know about, but KTC, they actually make my most favorite roto head. It is buttery smooth. Anyways, in a very small head. Smaller than those other ones. Okay, let's give this guy a shot, just for giggles. Guys, I have not tried these, so I don't even know how they're going to stand up to each other. So you're watching this for the first time with me. Let's say 26 on that one. Pretty close. It kind of bounces around a little bit, but 26 seems to be about where it holds. All right, let's go the opposite direction. Just kind of bouncing around a little bit. It's throwing off a bit. So it tightens up on one side of the ratchet, and then loosens up on the other a little bit. So 20s to 30s to 40s. Let's say 35. I'm going to give it 35. It's somewhere in mid-middle there, but for whatever reason, it does tighten up just a little bit on one side. All right, And I'm going to do the Koken. Now, this is the higher tooth count Koken. I do have a finer tooth. I don't want to do that one just yet on this test. I just want to see how it works with these traditional Kokens that do have the dual pawl or the rocking pawl that's on there. Let's give it a shot. Give that one a 10. Solid 10 on that. 10 grams. Okay. It was 9. Look at that, an 8. All right, guys. So your best contender is going to be the Koken, followed up by your Milwaukee. Right there, 8 and 10, 8 and 11. That was a really close push between the two, depending on which direction you go. So your top contenders out of the group, followed up by your Icon, followed up by your Roto Roundhead KTC. And then your best performers over here with the Craftsman were this OEM that was well lubed at 40 and 44. And then, well, better than that was this lubed and used, pin oiled. It got down to 30 and 33. But following that would be your well-greased OEM unit. And then following that would then be your OEM unit in this one. I think it's easy to tell that the standard isn't held across evenly on all these new ratchets. Some perform better than others, and this one performs better than this one that I got submerged. Right, well, you know, the question is, what was this prior? It was worse, because I noticed a difference after doing the submersion. And then this guy came in extra heavy for the submerged as well. So kind of went backwards as I thought. But I think the next thing to test now in this video is I want to put these in a drill, or at least one of these submerged ones in a drill, since they've already got that oil in them. And let's just see if we could slowly break it in. So we'll do that next. Hang tight, guys. I'll say, okay, so I went ahead and put the ratchet into the chuck of this drill. I'm going to go ahead and just spin it, changing the speed just a little bit, but not going too crazy with it, because keep in mind, these are metal pieces inside here, and you don't want to chunk it out or make it worse than it needs to be. So we just want to do a light break in and see what happens. Again, this already has oil added to it on top of the factory grease, so we're just going to let it run like this and see how it goes. So we'll go ahead and apply just a little bit of pressure in all 4 angles. Just make sure we're wearing in whatever might be inside there, just a little bit. Not much pressure. You don't want to bind it. Now, I've already been doing this for a couple minutes. I don't want to show you guys the whole process, but this is kind of what's been happening, allowing me to test it and allow the oil to flow inside the head too. Make sure we got adequate lubrication. Okay, I think we've done enough. I've got probably total with this video about 5 minutes of just running it in the drill like that. So we're good to go. Okay, so it does feel noticeably better, but let's be the judge here. So about 40. So it was at 53. Now it's at 40. So that's better. Let's try this way. I'll say 40. So 45, now down to 40. So with 5 minutes of running it, guys, there has been an increase. Now is it down to where the 10s, 14s, 15s, 8 of these other ratchets? No, it is not. So I'm happy to admit that this so far has not gone as well as I thought. Maybe I'll take some time and just play with this ratchet some more and see if it gets any better. Because the goal is to get down to the level of these. If it can, then I would say it's a worthwhile ratchet. But at the same time, we don't have to force it to get to that point either, because the point of buying a ratchet is it's going to be good right out of the gate. The goal is just to find out if it gets better quickly, or if it's just inherently got high backdrag. So yes, it's still higher than the other ones. Is it bad? I don't think so. But to each person, backdrag and its amount, they're different to everybody. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you learned something from this, and if you don't mind, like and subscribe down below. That way we keep shooting videos just like this to you guys. All right, guys, I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.